You know, about once a month I need my shot in the arm, and that would be John Highbush, the Reagan Foundation.org, ReaganFoundation.org. John, how are you, my friend?
I am great, Mark. How are you?
Good, good. How's the Reagan Library doing today?
It's just alive and well. In fact, never been better. You know, just a few weeks ago.
How many square feet is that place?
250,000. I mean, include the Air Force One pavilion and everything we have here. It's monstrously big. It's a big place.
So just the bill for the utilities has to be a fortune.
Fortunately, we're in southern California, so It doesn't get real cold out here.
Yeah. So what's cooking?
Well, about 3 weeks ago, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Ronald Reagan. And I know you can't be at all places at once. We were sorry not to have you here, Mark, but if you had been here, you would have been through one of the most patriotic and heartwarming events that's happened in America in a long time, I think. It was just terrific.
You know, John, that may be one of the things I regret for the rest of my life. But I was so bogged down. But my kids went, and they had a blast, and they were so impressed.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. It was an incredible celebration. For those, you know, we had we had several thousand people here, and tens of thousands more that couldn't fit that wanted to come. So for any that want to see what happened here, if they go to ReaganFoundation.org, you can click on a link there, and we replay the entire concert and the entire day's events, and it's really heartwarming. You
had some Hollywood types. Are you allowed to mention them or not?
Oh, yeah. Well, one in particular who's just a great friend of the Reagan Libraries is a good friend of ours, Gary Sinise. Gary was here, and, anyone.
Gary's a buddy of mine, too, you know.
Absolutely. I know, Mark. He's a good friend of yours, and frankly, one of the best friends our American military, their families, and veterans have ever had. You know, he's the modern-day Bob Hope. He travels the world to support our troops and wounded veterans, and you can't find a classier act, really.
No, he's great.
So Gary was on hand and helped celebrate the event, and it was just a great time.
What was John Stamos doing there?
He plays occasionally with the Beach Boys, and we had the Beach Boys were one of the acts at the concert we had on Saturday night, February 5th, and then he came by on Sunday when the Beach Boys came up on stage, and you know, he's a real supporter too. Can
I mention others, or I'm not allowed to?
No, please go right ahead.
Was Tom Selleck there?
Yep, Tom Selleck. Yep, he was there on hand. He was nice enough. In one of our new exhibits in the museum, Mark, we have an exhibit where President Reagan sent one love letter after another to Mrs. Reagan throughout their lives. Literally hundreds and hundreds, and Tom was nice enough to read in the president's voice. He was the voiceover of President Reagan reading these letters to Mrs. Reagan, and it's just, you know, an incredible piece of work.
One more I have to mention because he's a buddy of mine, Fred Thompson.
Oh yeah, he was our MC for the concert. Another class act. He came all the way out here at his expense to MC a great deal of the events, and it was just really fun to have him here.
And he's got a great wife. He would have been a great president, but can't cry over spilt deficits. Now let me ask you this, my friend. Now you have other things going on too, right?
Well, you know, you and I've talked before briefly on your show about the Reagan scholarships, the GE Reagan scholarships. I just want to give, and thousands of people, Mark, who listened to you, pinged our website after you and I talked, and many hundreds of their kids started applying for the scholarship, the scholarship application we have on our website. And I wanted you to know there are over 30,000 kids across the United States have applied for one of these Reagan scholarships, and in just a couple of weeks we'll be picking the winners. So
now what? Let's explain it. What do the scholarships do? What are they for?
Well, you know, there's a lot of different scholarships out there. We thought it was important for this centennial that after 2011 is complete, after the centennial is over, that there's a lasting piece of legacy, focused on Ronald Reagan and what he stood for. So we worked with General Electric, and we created a program where over the next 10 years, every single year, 20 students, rising seniors, who apply, have the opportunity to get a $40,000 college scholarship. And these kids are kids. They don't have to be absolute straight-A students. They don't have to have, they don't have to be penniless. these are students that work hard, that help in high school, support their families, that are good civic leaders, that frankly they're folks they're kids that we hope mirror what Ronald Reagan was like growing up. And 20 lucky ones each year are going to win these scholarships to colleges of their choice. So,
is it still open? So if people in my audience want to take a look and have
absolutely.
their kids apply, yeah.
Until the 18th of March is the application process is still open. So for all those that listened and started the application before, this is an alert. It's last call time. Make sure you finish your application because we'll be closing it down in just a couple of weeks.
All right, so you parents in my audience and grandparents and kids who are listening, it's ReaganFoundation.org. Go ahead, go for it because it'll be great. The more the merrier as far as I'm concerned.
Me too. All
right, one more thing. Now, I got an advanced copy of a fascinating book you guys are putting out.
Yes, you do.
Am I allowed to talk about that or not?
No,
I guess not. All right, well, I'll wait on that one.
Well,
by the way, it's a great book.
Oh, what I will tell you, Mark, is in a couple of months when it's just about to hit the street, you and I could talk about it for a long time because you've seen it, you've read it, and it'll be something your audience was going to love to want to read, but we just can't talk about it just yet.
All right, I'm sorry. Well, it is great.
Okay.
All right, brother. So, ReaganFoundation.org, that's like the mothership of your websites, right? You can get to everything from there.
Yeah, anything and everything. Everything from download video quotes of the president's best one-liners to, apply for scholarships or buy things, centennial items, Reagan centennial items from our store, or learn what about...
we actually use it here on the program to get some of his audio.
Oh, I bet. In fact, that's my goal, Mark. I want to make sure in the next couple of years every single speech that President ever gave, you'll be able to find on our website and download it and use it for your own purposes.
That may scare a lot of the weak-kneed liberals out there and some of our weak-kneed Republicans, John. You better be careful.
So be it.
All right, brother, let me tell you, you're doing such a fantastic job at that library, and I'm going to tell you what. At some point, if you'll have me, at some point in the next 12 months, I'd like to come out there again.
We insist. If you don't, you're going to break our heart, Mark, so please do come back out.
But I want to try and beat the record again.
And for all those listening, what Mark is speaking of is the last time we announced that he was speaking at the Reagan Library, we sold out within 20 minutes.
You know what, John? What is today? When did that was the 5th, was it? That was a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago.
Well, we'll have to mark that on our calendars.
Yep.
Well, John, God bless you, my friend. Have a good weekend. Just tremendous work you're doing there.
Okay, thanks so much, Mark. God bless you, too.
All right, take care. Now, seriously, you folks with high school students, seniors, or grandparents, or if you're listening and you're a senior, I want you to go to that ReaganFoundation.org, take a look at that scholarship program, and see if that's something you want to do before it's too late, because it closes on March 18th. That's one of the things I wanted to do today, is to push that point for you young folks, or you older folks like me with younger kids. Let's try and take advantage of that. More conservatives, the better. And it's a great program. Well, I guess Sarah Palin doesn't like being lectured to by Chris Christie. He says she needs to get out there a little bit more, So she got out there a little bit more, and she lectured him. And you should see the cheap shots on my social sites from the what should we call them? The Christie'ites. Well, maybe she should have finished her term, they said. Well, if she had stayed up there in Alaska, bogged down in ethics complaint after ethics complaint after ethics complaint, she wouldn't have been available to help save this country, campaigning at taxpayer rally after taxpayer rally after Tea Party rally. And while she was doing that, the governor of New Jersey ran quickly to Delaware to back up his buddy Mike Castle. Then he ran to California to back up his friend Meg Whitman. Yes. Bring it on, baby. I think this is great. I'm trying to get the issues out there. I'm trying to talk to some of these folks to follow up on some of these issues. They won't come on the program. I said, this isn't a vain complaint. I'm not whining about that, but I think we have a right to know. I can get Sarah Palin on this program. She's more than happy to answer any question I put to her, as frankly as any conservative. It's the ones who don't want to be questioned about these other subjects, and I promise I would do it with absolute respect. I'm heard all over New Jersey. Come on, Governor, call in. I don't bite, I promise. You're a big guy. You could actually probably take me. But that said, this isn't the UFC. Just want to have a chat? Gun control, your judicial appointment, illegal immigration, your position on Obamacare, the green agenda. Just little stuff like that. It's no big deal. You can answer that stuff. Same with you, Mitch Daniels in Indiana. All right, I want to ask you, really it's two questions in one. I really want you to think about this and talk about it with your family and friends over the weekend. But really, I want you to think about what I'm about to ask you. If our country had one party rule, and that party ruling our country was the Democrat Party, how do you think this country would look? What do you think they would do to this country? It's actually frightening, isn't it? Let me repeat. If we had one party rule in this country, and that one party was the Democrat Party, how do you think this country would look? And what do you think they'd do to this country? I think we'd have an absolute tyranny. I absolutely do. And yet, isn't it interesting? If we had one party rule in this country and it were the Republican Party, we'd have a lot of stupid stuff going on, as you would with any one party. But would you have an absolute tyranny? You'd have a lot of conservatives fighting like hell to take parts of the federal government, give them back to the states, take part of our liberties back from the federal government to reduce this, reduce that. But I'm very, very serious about this two-part question. One more time. If we had one party in this country, the Democrat Party, how do you think this country would look, and what do you think they'd do to it? I don't think there's any question. We'd have a flat-out, absolute tyranny. If that's controversial, too bad. I know in my heart and soul that I'm right. Ladies and gentlemen, the week is officially over. The weekend officially begins. We salute our armed forces, police officers, firefighters, emergency personnel. I will see you on Tuesday, but please listen on Monday. God bless you all, and thank you. Good night, Spritey. Good night, Griffey. Good night, America.